Hello, and this is Delia again, and I'm on the Vampire Diaries, The Awakening, Chapter 10, Part 2. Hurry up, called Bonnie from the doorway of the gym. Beside her, the high school janitor. Mr. Shelby stood waiting. Elena cast one last glance at the distant figures on the football field, then reluctantly crossed the blacktop to join Bonnie. I just wanted to tell Stefan where I was going, she said. After a week of being with Stefan, she still felt a thrill of excitement just saying his name. Every night this week he'd come to her house, appearing at the door around sunset, hands in pockets, wearing his jacket with the collar turned up. They usually took a walk in the dusk or sat on the porch talking. Although nothing was said about it, Elena knew it was Stefan's way of making sure they weren't alone together in private. Since the night of the dance, he'd made sure of that, protecting her honor. Elena thought wryly and with a pang, because she knew in her heart that there was more to it than that. He can live with you for one evening, said Bonnie callously. If you get talking to him, you'll never get away, and I'd like to get home in time for some kind of dinner. Hello, Mr. Shelby, said Elena to the janitor, who was still patiently waiting. To her surprise, he closed one eye and a solemn wink at her. Where's Meredith? She added. Here, said a voice behind her, and Meredith appeared with a cardboard box of file folders and notepads in her arms. I've got this stuff from your locker. Is that all of you? Said Mr. Shelby. All right now, you gals leave the doors shut and locked. You hear? That way nobody can get in. Bonnie, about to enter, pulled up short. You sure there's nobody already in? She said warily. Elena gave her a push between the shoulder blades. Hurry up, she mimicked unkindly. I want to get home in time for dinner. There's nobody inside, said Mr. Shelby's mouth twitching under his mustache, but you gals yell if you want anything. I'll be around. The door slammed shut behind them with a curiously final sound. Work, said Meredith resignedly, and put the box on the floor. Elena nodded and looked up and down the big empty room. Every year the student council held a haunted house as a fundraiser. Elena had been on the decorating committee for the last 2 years, along with Bonnie and Meredith, but it was different being chairman. She had to make decisions that would affect everyone, and she couldn't even rely on what had been done in past years. The haunted house was usually set up in a lumberyard warehouse, but with the growing uneasiness about town, it had been decided that the school gym was safer. For Elena, it meant rethinking the whole interior design, and with less than 3 weeks now until Halloween, it's actually pretty spooky here, said Meredith quietly, and there was something disturbing about being in the big closed room, Elena thought. She found herself lowering her voice. Let's measure it first, she said. They moved toward the room, their footsteps echoing hollowly. All right, said Elena when they had finished. Let's get to work. She tried to shake off her feeling of uneasiness, telling herself that it was ridiculous to feel unsettled in the school gym, with Bonnie and Meredith beside her and an entire football team practicing not 200 yards away. The three of them sat on the bleachers with pens and notebooks in hand. Elena and Meredith consulted the design sketches for previous years, while Bonnie bit her pen and gazed around thoughtfully. Well, here's the gym, said Meredith, making a quick sketch in her notebook, and here's where the people are going to have to come in. Now, could we have the bloody corpse at the very end? By the way, who's going to be the bloody corpse this year? Coach Lyman, I think. He did a good job last year, and he helps keep the football guys in line. Elena pointed to their sketch. Okay, we'll portion this off and make it the medieval torture chamber. They'll go straight out of that and into the room of the living dead. I think we should have druids, said Bonnie abruptly. Have what? Said Elena. And then as Bonnie started to yell druids, she waved a gwelling hand. All right, I remember. But why? because they're the ones who invented Halloween. Really? It started out as one of their holy days when they would build fires and put out turnips with faces carved in them to keep evil spirits away. They believed it was the day when the line between the living and the dead was thinnest. And they were scary, Elena. They performed human sacrifices. We could sacrifice Coach Lyman. Actually, that's not a bad idea, said Meredith. The bloody corpse could be a sacrifice. You know, on a stone altar with a knife and pools of blood all around. And then when you get really close, he suddenly sits up. And gives you heart failure, said Elena. But she had to admit it was a good idea. Definitely scary. It made her feel a little sick just thinking about it, all that blood. But it was only K-Rose syrup, really. The other girls had gone quiet, too, from the boys' locker next door. They could hear the sound of water running and lockers banging and over the indistinct voices shouting, "Practice is over." Okay, so we'll continue part 3.